This is the third part of that lesson, of this long lesson, and I've decided to do just a part for this one because the last indicator is called a universal indicator, and it's by far the best one, and I'll explain. You'll see very quickly why. So first of all, just to explain what I've got here, I've got 9 test tubes, where what I've tried to do is strong acid here, strong base there, and then becoming weaker base, weaker base, weaker base, and the middle one, this one is just water, so that should be neutral. It's not base, or it's not acid, and here it's kind of weak base, okay, and it's becoming stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, okay. I think I'm going to change it to here, okay, and that means I'll need to add a little bit more acid. So let me just add a little bit more acid, okay. Okay. Right, now, I'm not sure I've got the right consistencies. So I played with that a little bit, tested it, kind of worked, but we'll have to adjust it. Let's start with the strong base and strong acid. You can see that this base I was using, I've used a stronger one. I used sodium hydroxide, very slippery, not that I touch because that will be quite difficult. Now, this is your universal indicator, okay? It's got this kind of dark color. When I add it to a strong base, you can see it's very blue, in fact, actually purplish color. Goes on the purple side. Now let's use this same universal indicator inside acid, and let's see what happens there. Okay? You can see a beautiful red, so check that out. Okay? So base and universal indicator goes towards the purple, and very blood red for the acid. Okay, so far it's kind of the same as the litmus paper, isn't it? Well, maybe the cool thing is it's still the same material, so no, I don't need a red and a blue litmus paper. It's all in one. But the cool thing about your universal indicator that it can show you not just what acid and what base, it can show you what's strong acid, what's weak acid, what's a strong base, and the weak base. You can see the different colors. Okay. So what I'd like to go now is to the water. Where was the water? That's a good question. I think this is the water. Yeah. Okay. So water, yeah. Water should go green. Okay. In fact, it should go a little bit more lighter green. Maybe there's a little bit of base in that, but that's good enough. So green is neutral. You can see already different colors. Yeah. Strong acid, strong base. Let's move on now to not as strong base, okay? So I'm going to give it to, acid. So a little bit of a weaker acid, okay? Right, and you can see, I mean, that's maybe a little bit quite similar, okay? Maybe not as blood red, okay? Let's move on one more to the left, so it's a bit of a weaker one, okay? So now you can see already the color is kind of the same. It didn't really change. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and weaken this acid. How can I weaken this acid? Because I told you, it's not 100%. I didn't really test it completely. So to make it a less strong acid, I'm going to add a bit of base. I've got a little bit of base. You see something cool also happen. I see a little fizz. You saw that little fizz? Okay. There's some kind of chemical reaction which we're going to learn later. Okay. Okay. So what I'm doing, I'm neutralizing some of the acid. Okay, I'm going to neutralize it a little bit more till I get the right consistency. Because look, I didn't really measure much. You can already, from my side, see a color change. To me, that looks a little bit more on the orange side. Maybe a little bit more. I can already see some tints of yellow there. A little bit more. I think we're going to leave it as there. I think you can see a difference between this red to, there's a little bit of tinge of yellow there. Okay. Now I'm going to make it even weaker. Let's add a little bit more base to that one. And we're going to add the universal indicator to this. So this is weaker acid. Okay, obviously it's not as weak as I want it to be. So we're going to add a little bit more base. Woo, fizz, fizz, fizz. We will talk next week about what are these bubbles really, what are they about, okay? But now, you can definitely see that this is more yellow. This one is more yellow than that. So it can even go a little bit more yellow. Go on, let's try and do it, Mr. Leshan. We can weaken. Oh, no, look at that. Okay, look, I turn it to neutral. Can you see now? Now it's not an acid anymore. Now it's completely neutral. How would I make it a little bit more acidic? No problem. Add a little bit more acid. Ooh, okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of acid. A little bit more acid. Come on. You know you want to. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Maybe a little bit more. There we go. Oh, still green. Okay, I'll tell you what. I've got the strong stuff. This is a really strong acid. So a little bit of that. I don't know if you can see, but it's actually smoking a little bit. I need to add a little bit of this. Oh, this is fun, guys. Where's Cameron? He would have enjoyed this. Here we go. Okay? I already added too much, so it goes back to kind of reddish. But you can see for a second or two, you can see a little bit of a yellow tinge. It is more yellow than that. Yeah? Right. Strong acid, weaker acid, neutral. Let's add to our base side. So I have a weak base now. Okay? Is that a weak base? Certainly not. That's acid, isn't it? How are we going to make it more base? We can add more base. Turn it green. Isn't this fun, eh? Okay? So this is close to neutral. It is, in fact, quite neutral. So we'll add a little bit more. Right. Doesn't really want to change. So what I've got now is the strong stuff. This is strong base. Again, that's sodium hydroxide. Very powerful. But even that doesn't make a huge difference. Let's try and add a little bit more for the universal indicator. Okay, here we go. Now it's good. Okay, so you can see that still has some green in it, but it's a little bit more blue. Okay? And now I'm going to add it to a little bit strong base. And you can see that's already quite a nice blue. And the really strong base goes to purple. So here we go. Et voila. Okay? We've got strong base, a little bit weaker, neutral, green, weak acid, which is on the yellowish side, and then strong acid goes to red. The last thing I need to add to it is something called pH. I'll write it down on the board so that you can see pH. Okay? It's a funny way of the way we write it. We write small little p, you see, little p, and capital H. What is it really? You're only going to learn in grade 11. But for now, for us, it's just about numbers. It's just about numbers. So just like you can talk about colors, okay, red being strong acid, purple being strong base, and all the colors in between, we give it numbers. So I'm going to see if I can write it down like that. So a strong, let's start with a strong base. A strong base, let's see if I can write it just above. Okay, strong base is 14. Did I write it right? Yeah. Okay. That is a strong base. Nope, not in the other direction. Okay, that is 14. Strong base. A strong acid is 1. Let's see. Swap side, swap side, swap side. I know I'm being a bit silly here. Can you see this one? That's it. This is strong acid. Strong acid, 1. Strong base, 14. As we get weaker acid, we go to 2, 3, 4. Where's my neutral? My neutral is number 7. So neutral is number 7. Okay? So we've got a scale. That's what pH is. It's really a scale. From 1 to 14. 1 being a very strong acid, 14 being a very strong base. As the numbers go up from 1, it becomes weaker and weaker acid. When we get to number 7, absolutely neutral. 8, 9, weak bass, all the way to 14, very strong bass. Okay? That's all you need to know. I will give you the notes under the video. Please copy them into your books, and I'll see you in the next lesson.